What's up, YouTube, and welcome to the spring and the pollen and everything else that's out here making us sneeze. But today I'm here to talk about the 2025 Rally Red Harley-Davidson cvoST. I'm over 5,000 miles, and I just wanted to talk about the bike just for a little bit. All right, so far just a few reviews on the bike. I did take the bike down on a long trip. I did close to 3,000 miles, and I went down to Key West, Florida, a few other destinations and back. I rode on a stock seat, and it was doable, but just breaking it in for the first 1,000 miles was pretty painful. And but after that, I could put that stock seat back on and ride with it pretty comfortably. Since then, I've purchased this LePera seat, and it is the LePera Maverick. And a lot of times when you get the diamond stitch design, it's quite uncomfortable. But if you order a seat from LePera direct, just like with any other company, you can add like extra gel. So one of the things I did, I had this LePera Maverick seat before on my other roadglide. That was the other series below this one, the previous year models. And I assume that it came with gel, but you don't get gel unless you special order. So this time I like this seat, and I got the extra gel put in for the rider and the passenger. I like this wide wheelbase, and I like the fact that you can custom order your various backrests. They don't sell the backrests, but you can custom order and get them made. So I plan on getting the King Tour Pak at some point. So I already have the King backrest ordered or here at my house. So back to the bike review with no specific order. I'm just looking at different things, and it's just kind of reminding me of what I didn't like. So I could start the video off just talking about all the things that I like, but I'm in love with the bike. So I'm in love with not just the looks, but the comfort, the seat height to ground height, where I could just flat foot the bike. I'm 5'10" with 30-inch inseam, and I could pretty much flat foot the bike. So it feels like it's lower center of gravity, lower to the ground, and I really love the way this bike rides and handles. This high output versus the VVT, I feel like I get better throttle and engine response and smoother rides, whether I'm in track mode or touring mode or sports mode. And it's a night and day difference between the two bikes riding them. I mentioned before that I didn't understand why people were trading in their regular CVOs, the same model year, but the same model style, trading in their CVOs with more features for the regular cvoST. I call it regular cvoST because it does come with a lot less parts, and you have to spend just a little bit of money to get it back to like how you might have had your original CVO in this model, the first CVOs that came out. So one of the things that I didn't like was with this heavy air breather here, it's a different size than the air breather that you can buy in the store, and so they didn't have the rain cover. So ended up ordering one off Amazon. I did order the Harley rain cover. However, it's just still not here yet. And it's been, I don't know, maybe I had the bike like a month and a half now, 2 months, maybe a month. I don't know. Can't remember, but I bought the bike in March. So it's going on like a month and a half, and still no rain sleeve. And luckily I haven't gotten caught in the rain too much, even on the long trips, but I did get caught last weekend coming from Ocean City in the rain, and that Amazon rain cover did fit just right. So some of the additions that I put on was to match. I put this flat out bar here to match the front. And one of the things that I didn't like about the one on the front is that I couldn't do highway pegs. So to mitigate that, I ended up putting on these Ciro highway pegs. They're called frame mount because they mount right there under the frame, and they provide bracket support for the foot peg, the floorboards on the front, which these come with small floorboards. I rode all the way down to Key West on them. It was very uncomfortable. My feet kept falling off. So adding on the full floorboards added a lot of benefit to the bike. To change that out, all you have to do is they sell a bracket. They're $30 per side, and you have to change this front one for the regular bracket that'll hold. Or if you get these Ciro frame mounted highway pegs, then that's all you need to add on the standard side floorboards. One of the things that I want to do is I want to add the spacers, because right now when I ride, my foot is too close to here, and you can see right there all the marring that it's doing. I tried to buff that out or rub that out, and it just won't. And I even have a scratch right here from my boot zipper, but I do need to push this out further, and that'll you know, result in a more comfortable ride. And so I can't wait to do that. I keep forgetting to order the part though. And far as the rear, they told a lot of customers that you can only get like the foot peg right here, and that's not true. As you can see, I just ordered the standard size bracket that comes on all the previous or year models, and you could just put the regular size floorboard on. And so that's definitely doable as well. I removed the factory exhaust off, and I added on these tab 50 cal exhausts, but I like them. They're loud, but I've seen some modifications that people did with their original exhaust by removing the baffles and removing the insulation out. And I'm very tempted to try that, considering I have the exhaust system still here, just for cosmetics, just for the looks that will match the forged carbon fiber look on there and on the front fender. I do like the look of the original exhaust pipes better than I like just with these plain black pipes. I think now Tab sells some that match the finish of the heat shields on the exhaust, and I think that if I got that, I'd kind of be satisfied and comfortable with the look. But now I'm starting to notice the difference within the look. So some of the things that I got from Custom Dynamics complimentary was, as a promoter of Custom Dynamics parts, was this light that goes inside the luggage rack by Harley-Davidson, the saddlebag lights, and also the license plate bracket. A lot of people are asking me where I got these tinted lights from, and those should be coming out on the market, flooding the market soon. And but they were easy to install. You just remove the saddlebags. You could access the bolts on the side to remove the entire fixture, and then you could remove the lights out and switch them out. So some people are getting them tinted, but they do offer the full actual tinted light, which is pretty cool. I have no problems yet, no complaints, so I like them. As far as the Harley exhaust, not the exhaust, the Harley-Davidson suspension, well, not Harley-Davidson, but it's a Showa suspension that Harley-Davidson provides on these bikes with the canisters. I did a review of the Wilbers Max, I don't know how to pronounce it, suspension, and I actually like the Wilbers a little bit better. It's not a canister setup or what you call a reservoir setup, but it is just a regular shock. And I was told that when you don't have the reservoir, the response time is a lot faster, depending on like cold weather and things like that, for the oil to reach. And I'm not sure, but anyway, I like the Wilbers a little bit better than the Showa suspension, especially like after I put the Tour Pak on. It's not adding a lot more weight, but I did notice that the Wilbers Max suspension is better. I still have to put the Wilbers suspension back on and go 2 up. Now, I like the look of the canisters, but with the Tour Pak on, you can't really see you call them the canisters, but you can't see the reservoirs anyway. A lot of people just like the reservoir look, and I think it's still pretty cool myself. The heel toe shifter, just adding the heel shifter is something that I like, even though with this model bike, you don't have to push the clutch in. If you want to speed shift, you could just actually upshift while you have the throttle back, so you can quick shift. But it's pretty cool if you have the heel shifter, you can still do it by just clicking down. One of the things that I want to do is find a heel shifter that is a little bit longer. That'll give me all of the platform that I want to use for my floorboards. So I'm looking for a longer heel shifter to go right back here. I got big ass feet, and so that would help. I did get this piece right here, coil cover, I think that's what it's called, from Harley-Davidson. I like the look of that. I normally will switch out this shifter linkage, but for right now it looks good. I think I might go with one that's red. I'm not sure. But overall performance of the bike, I love. One of the things that I wanted to change out that I didn't like was the risers that come on there. The risers that come on there was just a little bit too short for me. So I ended up buying these risers from Arlen Ness, and I like them a lot. It gave me a little bit more reach, and it took away some of the fatigue that I had when I had to reach further. And so now on long rides, I'm a lot more comfortable. I ended up changing out the regular heated grips that I had on there, that I had installed, and I traded them out for, well, I still have them, I'm gonna sell them, but I switched them out for these Kahuna grips only because it had the red design. But I like when I'm holding the grips, it gives a place for, kind of gives a place for your finger to sit right here, and just that memorable location gives you that added control. And I always like the Empire Collection mirrors and some of the Empire Collection floorboards and things like that. Normally I go full Empire Collection, but I've done that on the past few builds because I just love the Empire stuff. The handguards, these are just regular handguards. I don't know the company, I just bought them on Amazon, but they're thick plastic, and they're very durable. I like how they look and feel. I don't get as much hand protection as I thought I would. I was thinking like once you had your hand in here, it's completely protected by the weather and the elements, but not so much. Even on the Pan America, the hand grips don't give you like the full hand protection. So it does protect some, but not all the way. This is another light that I just recently added yesterday from Custom Dynamics, and it gives you added lighting for the road, and it's pretty bright. It has the turn signals and everything on there, so, and just love that look. So that's something that I recommend. The windshield, I've tested all the different windshields on my other CVO, and this is the 5.5-inch windshield. I tested the one that it comes with, the 10-inch and the 12-inch windshield, and I can honestly say that this 5-inch flip up provides the protection that I need. The other ones, I ended up getting buffeting is what they call it. And when I went 12-inch and 10-inch was okay, but the overall, I think the last bike that I had, I did get the same windshield, and I was more happy with it than the larger ones. The side wind deflectors, I haven't really got a chance to use. Not really knowledgeable on the proper use of them, but I guess if it's hot, you just open them up and then the wind goes that way. I mean, it's not rocket science, but I haven't touched them or used them. When I purchased the bike, it didn't have these, I guess, side panel heat shields, and you can see all the way through the bike. And some people say it's better to keep those off so that you can get adequate airflow, but I didn't like the open look of that, so I ended up putting those on anyway. What else? I added a Bluetooth tuner to the bike, and I like that because when my phone is mounted here on the Rokform phone mount, I could actually have the Bluetooth tuner screen on. There's a feature in there called Toolbox, and inside the Toolbox, I can see like all the different data on the bike. There's a gauge screen where you can see your gauges that you select as far as the speed, and then there's also a feature that allows you to put a shifter light on. So like you designate whatever RPMs you want the shift light to come on. I think I got mine set at 4,000. If I reach that, then it flashes green and tells me when to shift gears. So I really like that. So the other thing I did was I removed my reflectors, and then I also added these darker style reflectors. They're smoke or gray, and I do like that. Some of the internal things that I did, I know my Tour Pak's gonna be filthy and unorganized. However, one of the things that I did was I added a device that I can plug things up in. You know, it's not the neatest, but it has a fuse, it's wired in, and I have the USB ports. So when the bike is on, that's powered, and I could actually charge different devices. So I have my 360 camera there and the extra batteries. I could just plug that in and charge, or whatever I want to charge while I'm on the road. Cup holder, that's permanently glued in there, but I like the fact that I can take some of my ram mounts, put my cup holder in there, and then I could either put my cup holder here or have video equipment there on the ram mount ball that I have up front. So those are just some of the small things that I've done. And so far, so good. I really like the bike as far as comfort, as far as speed, as far as power. I haven't had any mechanical problems. And also, like on the first series, the first generation, like the 2023.5, I kept having issues with the BCM or ECU or whatever you want to call it, as far as the bike just stalling out or cutting off, or lean mode activated and kickstand mode coming on and things like that. I think they may have worked out the glitches. I hope I don't jinx myself, but I haven't had any trouble with the Apple CarPlay. I use the Cardo Edge, and one of the things that I did was on the other bike, I put in, you know, all the different devices so like the bike thinks that it's something wireless connected, but I always ride with my Cardo or my Cena or whatever, because sometimes I want to listen to music in my helmet and sometimes I don't, but I like the fact that I can answer the phone. But a secret to getting it, not really a secret, but when you want to get it to connect, you have to have your Cena not have your Cena or your Cardo Bluetooth saved into your phone or connected to the phone, because it competes for what device is going to connect. So I have my phone connected to the Bluetooth on the bike, and then I have the Cena or the Cardo connected to the bike. So everything has to go through the bike, and then from the bike to the phone, or to the, you know, everything goes through the central unit versus trying to figure out where it's going to be directed. And so that's been my success on the Apple CarPlay, but I haven't had issues with that on this bike. The other thing that I did, I added the what they call the garage door opener with the HomeLink. Turn this on. And so once I added the HomeLink, you have to, you know, take the fairing off to add the HomeLink or what have you. But when you have it on, it allows you to click the high beams twice, and then you can close your garage or open your garage. So I like that feature. That was one of my favorite features of, you know, just something that you can add on. It was like $209 to install that. So yeah, so I did that. So to do that, you just have to remove the fairing, and there's a little $27 bracket you need, and you can install it right around here. You have to take the headlight out, and also for this light, you take the fairing off, you have to take the headlight off, and then there's a wire harness where you unplug the headlight, put the harness in there, and then it gives you the wires that you need to have up top so that you can run this light. As you can see, this is not connected to the windshield. It's just connected to the plastic, whatever it's just called, the plastic right there that the windshield goes into. And so the other hooks come off. These hooks are connected to this, and then that's what your windshield goes onto. So you can still change your windshield on and off without having to worry about this. And that just, it fits on, it clips onto the plastic piece, like I said, underneath of it, and it's pretty sturdy. And then your wires are then ran, like when this part is popped out, under there. So it's pretty convenient. I didn't like have to take the whole fairing off to do all that stuff, but it's easy enough. You can take the fairing off in like 4 minutes. Not a big deal. And so I've done 2 3-hole changes, and it's pretty simple to do yourself. Now they made it to where only metal plug or drain plug is going to be the one that's under there, and that's, you know, when you're taking the derby cover off and changing the fluid right there with the bike upright. But the other two, what they've done is they put it's like a polymer or polymer, however you say it, or plastic, hard plastic now underneath. See, it's no longer that metal drain pan. And so these are the new plugs right here. So they do a half turn. You have to have something that's shaped like, which is the socket. You do a half turn and then that comes out, and to put it back in, you could just hand turn it in. And same thing right here. So that's the oil and transmission. And then the other one is still metal. So word to wise is, so this one takes the regular size O-ring, and these are like a thicker, wider ring. And so I have to show you the part number for that if you have a cvoST. So for the new plugs, this is going to be the O-ring part number that you'll need. You'll need 2 of these, but then when you're doing your 3-hole in that kit, it's still going to come with the other 3 old style O-rings, and then it's going to come with the ring that goes inside the derby cover. But you will have to get 2 of these when you do your 3-hole change on the new bike, on the new cvoSTs. And it's pretty convenient, I gotta say. The only thing about the 3-hole change that's, it's not difficult, but it's a pain in the series of doing it, is that oil filter, because you can get stuff under there to catch the oil, but that's the only part, and it's not a big deal. But that's the hardest part about doing a 3-hole change is, you know, reaching in there, getting that out. Proper tools is everything, and but it's nothing to it. And so you can pretty much do your 3 holes all day long. Some of the other noticeable differences, as you can see, it does not have the rear speakers, right? And it does not have the remote to where you can automatically unlock your saddlebags. And so can you live without that? Yes. They did make the stereo system more powerful and louder for these, so I haven't been really missing the rear speakers. However, you can buy the kit, get the bike flashed, or flash it and then have your rear speakers. Again, junky saddlebag, but with the speakers in there, I actually wouldn't be able to have as much room when I'm on the road or packing. I require more room. One of the other things is I put in these lights right here. They're not on because the bike's in the sunlight, but you can turn those on. Those are just some Amazon type lights. Put it on automatic, so when this closes, it cuts off, because it's got the motion or light sensor inside. So those are just a few other things that I did, and a few other things that I like. So this luggage rack is called the Airstream or Air Wing. I always forget, but it's one of those 2 names. And the difference is it has the cutout so that you can put the light in right there. And so some people get the light that goes right here, the brake light, but then you will cover up your CVO emblem if you care about that. So Rally Red is a color that if you want to buy Avant black parts, they don't have that out yet. What I was doing with this series is making my own 2025 roadglide limited cvoST by adding the Tour Pak. So I'm lacking a few things, like I mentioned. I can probably buy the actuators. I will still need a different remote. Like, it comes with the same shape and cool looking remote. However, it doesn't have the buttons that I would need to unlock my bags. So I would need that, and probably some other internal parts if I wanted to add that. It hasn't been too much of a pain to just lock the bags, but if I want to get this back to like what I used to have with the other CVO, I would need the actuator locks, and I would need the speakers. And then my other one, I ended up putting the actuator here, and I make a harness to where, like, if you have the 2023 CVO, the 23 and a half CVO and up, then you could actually use my harness, and I have an extra wire, and it goes in here and it makes it so that you can actually lock and unlock your Tour Pak once you buy the actuator, and then you need to get the new tumbler for there. But if you email me at chrisglides@gmail.com, then I can send you the information on how to do that and how to order the harness from me. They sell harnesses out there, but their harnesses don't have the extra wire that activates the Tour Pak actuator if you decide to hook that up. As far as difference in speed and different modes, so the other bike, the 23.5, I was only able to get that up to 113 before it topped out. On this one, I did get it up to 123 before it topped out. And actually, I don't even know if it topped out. It just felt like it could pull a little bit more, but I'm sure it's supposed to top out in and around that area. And it just effortlessly pulls. So the top end speed is different. This has track mode, and the other one just has sports mode, but there's different modes to where you can actually put in your preferences, and the bike has the various responses. I love this thing in track mode. I do know audible sound wise, the difference in the two, like this bike, high output versus VVT, exhaust system wise, like I didn't even have to put headers on. I just put the slip-ons on, and this thing just, it rips. It has like a crazy amazing sound with these Tab 50 cows. It's the best exhaust I've had. I did have Reinhardt's on the other bike that I had, Grady, with the 131, and I mean that's just loud as all get out. But that bike has headers done. But this bike without headers, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I love it, and so it is good. What else can I talk about? I think, the suspension. Far as the suspension, so this has the inverted forks in the front. I was able to read the owner's manual and go ahead and change some settings. So there's a setting here that you can change, and then the setting on the outer part that you can change on both sides. And so I was able to do that. As far as on the suspension, you have a dowel on the top there, and then you have dowels, you have rings that you can change on the inside of the shocks, and you set that up by the amount of millimeters that you dial it down. Goes by like the weight that you have of the rider, passenger, Tour Pak, whatever you put in, and then there's a dial setting on top. So on the shock, there's the rings up top, and then there's actually a dial on the bottom. I don't know if I can see it down here. Probably not. But anyway, if you got the bike, look in your owner's manual about the suspension settings. When you first get these bikes, I thought the suspension was crappy, but you actually do have to adjust your suspension in order to feel a better ride. All right, guys, if you have any more comments, put them in the comment section or questions, or you can email me at chrisglides@gmail.com. These are the other heated grips that I have for the bike, and I can sell them to you. They are back ordered. They are in good condition, as you can see. I had them on the bike for just a little while, and they are super easy to change. It'll take you all of about 15 minutes. You don't have to sit there and run wires through bars and all that stuff. I put the plugs back in, so before you install them, you have to pop these out. I put them on both ends, just like how you get it out the box. So they're gonna be going for like $400. If you buy brand new, I will sell them to you for $300. So just contact me at chrisglides@gmail.com and get those out to you. So I also have the takeoff parts, like the pegs, the small pegs. I don't know if anybody's interested in those. I have the original bars. I have the original risers that came off the bike. I have the original mirrors that came off, and the original seat and seat cowling. So if you are interested in any of those parts, just hit me up at chrisglides@gmail.com. I have the original exhaust, which I may modify and put back on. So then I will have these Tab 50 cows to sell. So just let me know what you need. If you have a King backrest on yours, I have the LePera King backrest that I'm planning on using, but kind of considering selling because I'm kind of comfortable with what I have right here. But you would still need the LePera Maverick seat in order to match that stitching. But I do have that. If you're interested in that, how it looks in photos or whatever, then just hit me up. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Chris Glides. I'm out here getting eaten alive by the freshly new spring mosquitoes, and my eyes are swollen from the pollen. It's time for me to get in. But thanks for watching this episode of Chris Glides, and stay tuned because who knows where we're going to go next. See you.